What's going on? The last of the big four shortstops finally has a home. Dansby Swanson is headed to the Chicago Cubs. Let's break it down. This is Smarter Baseball, where we deep dive into everything going on throughout Major League Baseball. If you want to support the channel, like the video, subscribe to the page, and turn on notifications. We are closing in and headed for 500 subscribers. I want you to be a part of the first foundation of this channel as we start to blow this thing up. So Dansby Swanson is headed to Chicago on a 7-year, $177 million contract. That comes out to $25.3 million AAV, and it's going to run from his age 29 through his age 35 seasons, from 2023 through 2029. Now, there are a lot of people that will say that Dansby doesn't deserve this kind of money. Throughout his career, 7 years, 827 games, he slashed .255, .321, .417 for a .738 OPS, 102 home runs, and this comes out to a 95 OPS plus and a 94 WRC plus, only 14.5 BWAR and 16.2 FWAR. So looking at this, it pretty much says that he's been a slightly below average offensive player, but we know that he brings defense at a premier defensive position. So this is why it's pretty much come out to, looking at his WAR, he's been about your average major league player. So we got to dive a little bit deeper into this. First, let's take a look at his approach. He has the tendency to strike out above average, but he still manages to get his walks, so it's not a terrible ratio between the two of them. Mainly, this comes down to the fact that he doesn't really chase, and since he swings about average, what really hurts him is the fact that he whiffs, and he whiffs quite a bit. But when he does make contact, we see that there's some pop in that bat, backed up both by the ISO and the exit velo a little bit above average, because he barrels the ball and he hits it hard quite a bit, resulting in a pretty high number of homers per fly ball, which keeps his homer percentage right around, if not a little bit above average. And he utilizes this power by having an above average launch angle, resulting in quite a few fly balls. And he really optimizes that power by turning on the ball noticeably more than your average hitter. Now, on the base paths, he's not going to steal you a crazy amount of bases. He's right about average, maybe a little bit below, but he's a guy that will take that extra base. So that guy that's going to go first to third, second to home on a single, he's gonna just gut out getting that extra base for you. So if his career numbers don't point to him getting this money, let's take a look at this season and see if he's really improved to earn 25+ million a year. In 2022, he played every single game, slashing .277, .329, .447 for a .776 OPS with 25 home runs, good for a .115 OPS plus, a .116 WRC plus, and racked up 5.7 BWAR and 6.4 FWAR. For reference, 5 WAR means an all-star season. So his approach actually seemed to have kind of got worse. His home run percentage is up over his career average, and he walked noticeably less this season, chasing just a little bit more and swinging more often, resulting in more whiffs. But man, oh man, when this dude does hit the ball, the ISO and exit velo have both gone up because he's barreling the ball even more than he already was, hitting it even harder, even more often than he already was, jumped up his homers per fly ball and his home run percentage this season. What this screams to me is similar to like a Javi Baez, a guy who has an incredible swing, and when he gets it right, it's a thing of beauty to watch. But the way that he approaches an at-bat kind of takes away from how much he can utilize that really good swing. Now, he's pretty much doubled down on the power at this point, increasing his launch angle, which cut the amount of grounders and increased fly balls. Generally, that means a lower average, but when those hits are landing, they're landing a lot further for doubles and homers. And since he's still pretty much in his athletic prime, the stolen base numbers are still about the same, but he's managing to swipe a few more extra bases this season. And this was the first year that Dansby was really recognized for his talents on the field, earning a Gold Glove and was an All-Star this year. First, let's talk about the Gold Glove, where if we look on Fangraphs at his advanced fielding numbers, out of 22 qualified shortstops this year, his defensive runs saved was 8th and his UZR per 150 was 13th, which is good, but his outs above average, runs above average, and total defensive rating were all ranked first, which is backed up by his Baseball Savant percentile ratings, where his outs above average was 100th percentile, despite the fact that his arm is actually apparently really weak. And offensively, we see the same that we've kind of talked about. He brings out power pretty consistently, even though he doesn't have necessarily top tier power. And when he hits the ball, despite leaning more towards the power, he's still a pretty good hitter. The problem comes from his approach, where his strikeout percentage, walk percentage, whiff rate, they're all just terrible. So once again, we come back to the question of why the Chicago Cubs? In 22, their shortstop slashed 261, 312, 378 for a 690 OPS, good for a 94 WRC+. But they ranked 11th in FWAR, mainly because of their defense, where they were top 10 in defensive runs saved, outs above average, runs above average, and total defensive rating. In contrast, Cubs second baseman slashed 230, 295, 358 for a 653 OPS and an 85 WRC+. They also ranked 17th in FWAR with 2.3 because their defense was bad. Outs above average was 25th, runs above average was 26th, and their total defensive rating was 26th as well. So, what this sets up is Nico Hoerner, who primarily played at shortstop last year, slides over to second base, where his 281, 327, 410 slash line and 4.5 BWAR and 4 FWAR is gonna fit a lot better, and Dansby gets to slide into that shortstop position to take over for Hoerner. But if you're gonna pay a guy this amount of money and bring him into a team that still is kind of in this retooling phase, wouldn't you want to bring in a guy that had a bit more of a proven track record? Dansby has won a World Series, and this year he was a good offensive player, arguably a great player all around. But if you're the Cubs, who are looking to kick off this next era of baseball in Chicago, wouldn't you think that the franchise guy that you want to bring in would have a bit more of a proven offensive capability? So let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this deal? If you're a Chicago Cubs fan, is this who you wanted to bring in to be your franchise player? And how is this going to play out over the length of this contract? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you want to help the channel grow, like the video, subscribe to the page, turn on notifications. We are headed for 500 subscribers, and I want you to be a part of the foundation of this channel as we continue to grow it even bigger and bring you higher quality content covering wider. That was gonna get really sexual really quick. Just do what you're gonna do to support the channel. Even just watching this, I appreciate it. I'm clearly going off the rails here. Let's just have an awesome day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.